In my last video I shared about how being laid off after 12 years in the design industry has led me into freelancing a little bit sooner than expected. And since then, a lot of people have reached out and asked me what it is that I'm actually doing right now, not in a how to get rich freelancing kind of way, but in a much more grounded way. So in this video, I want to talk through what it is that I'm working on first, step by step, before the clients, before the income, and before having everything figured out. By the way, if you're new here, my name is Ollie and I'm a brand designer and illustrator with over 12 years in the design industry. A few years ago, I started posting my content online, which has now led me in the path of becoming a full-time freelancer. So if this sounds interesting to you, then please feel free to subscribe if you like. So one thing that I've noticed almost immediately since being laid off is this internal pressure that I need to move fast. It felt like I needed to replace what I lost as quickly as possible. My routine, my income, my sense of direction. And to be honest, I think that's quite a natural response. But the more I sat with it, the more that I realised that rushing was exactly how I was going to recreate the same situation that I just left, but with added stress on top. So instead of treating this like it's some massive emergency, I'm trying to treat it as more of a transition. So the first real thing that I focused on was a bit of a mental reset. Being laid off sometimes messes with your head more than you may have expected. Even though it may not have come from a personal place, you still start to question your abilities and it can be a bit of a knock on your confidence. And I even found myself wanting to jump straight into fix mode, where I just start applying for things and emailing people and pretty much just trying to sort of fill any quiet space that I have with activity. But I started to realise that if I didn't take a second and start to slow down at this point, then I would start to be making decisions based on fear as opposed to clarity. So I sort of gave myself a little bit of permission to pause and sit within this discomfort that I was feeling and to let things feel a little bit uncertain without immediately trying to solve them. So that pause that I mentioned earlier wasn't about just sitting around and doing nothing. It was all about intentionally trying to create some space. Space to think without deadlines hanging over me. Space to sit with ideas without immediately having to act on them. And space to notice what I was actually drawn to rather than what felt like the responsible next step. For a long time, my decisions have been shaped by structure, whether that's meetings, deadlines, or expectations. So when that suddenly disappeared, it did feel a little bit unsettling at the start. There was this urge to fill the quiet that I have with productivity, just so I felt like I was moving forward. But instead of trying to rush to replace this structure, I decided to sit within the uncertainty for a little bit longer. And that space helped me separate what I thought I should do as opposed to what I genuinely want to do. And that wasn't really always very comfortable. Some days felt very unproductive, even a little bit indulgent at some times. But it was also really quite revealing. Without this constant pressure, patterns started to emerge, like the kind of work that I was naturally gravitating towards, and certain ideas that kept resurfacing. And there were certain things as well that was draining me just at the idea of doing them successfully. And looking back, I actually think that creating space has been one of the most important steps that I've done so far, because it gave me that clarity that I don't think I would have reached if I just tried to move too quickly. So once things started to settle, the next step for me was to start thinking about my direction. Not the tactics or the tools, but the direction that I want to take. I started asking myself a few simple questions, like what kind of work do I actually want to do more of? What projects give me energy instead of slowly draining it? And what parts of my past roles do I not want to carry forward? And a good example of this comes from my last role that I was in, where I was working as a UI designer. And whilst I did enjoy my job and I was learning a lot, it didn't exactly excite me or make me feel fulfilled. The The work that has always pulled me in has been brand design and illustration. That's the kind of work that keeps me engaged and fully invested. So as I move forward into freelancing, I'm going to be more intentional about how I present myself, positioning myself as a brand designer and illustrator, rather than trying to cover off everything that I'm capable of. And for a long time, I defined my career based on what I could do. Whereas now, I'm trying to define my career based on what I want to be known for. And that shift alone has already changed how I think about freelancing and the type of clients that I want to attract. One of the hardest things that I feel like I need to try to unlearn is this idea that I always need to do everything. In full-time roles, being adaptable is often rewarded, but in freelancing, trying to do everything for everyone can quickly lead to burnout. So I'm actively trying to narrow my focus. Not because I can't do other things, but because I don't want to build a business that relies on overextension. And I know that that mind shift is going to take a while to try to overcome. From there, the next step has been about laying down solid foundations, but very intentionally not trying to overhaul everything all at once. Instead of rebuilding my portfolio from scratch, I'm looking over the work that I already have and seeing if it's going to help me move in the direction that I want to go. I'm refining how I talk about my work instead of just rebranding completely overnight. I'm adjusting my position slowly based on clarity rather than pressure. And something that's really important to remember here is that this isn't the same as if you was trying to apply again for another full-time job. Potential clients aren't looking at your portfolio and wondering why your previous job title isn't perfectly matching the work that you're showing. Your portfolio as a freelancer is your opportunity to present work that you potentially want to be hired for in the future. And it doesn't need to be a complete record of everything that you've done in the past. So if you have certain experience in different parts of design that you know that you don't want to be continuing to do as a freelancer, then don't put it in your portfolio. It's important at this stage to try to be selective. And remember that this stage isn't always about just making things look really impressive. It's about trying to be honest and aligned with where you want to be going with your career. So as well as talking about things that I'm actively doing, I think it's important to talk about things that I'm also choosing to try and steer clear of. I'm not going to be cold emailing hundreds of people. I'm not going to be taking every single opportunity that may potentially come my way. And one of the most important things is that I'm not going to be comparing my day one to other people's year 5. It's incredibly easy to scroll through social media and see other designers or freelancers doing really well and start to question whether or not you're good enough or if you're even falling behind. But speaking from experience, having a following does not automatically mean success, and it definitely doesn't guarantee stability or an income. Everyone that you admire started at the beginning at some point, whether or not they chose to show that part online. One thing that's clear is that early on in freelancing, it can sometimes feel quite chaotic. And for me, this stage is about protecting my energy and focus until I'm able to find my footing. Filtering out unnecessary noise so that I can build something in my own time and in my own way. And finally, the last step is all about managing my expectations and being realistic with myself. At the end of the day, this is all just a learning phase. There will be uncertainty and there will be moments where I'll question whether I'm doing the right thing or whether I would have been better off just continuing to play it safe. Some days will feel productive and energizing, whereas others will feel slow and unclear. I'm trying to accept that both are part of the process, and it doesn't necessarily mean that something's going wrong. The goal for me right now isn't to be successful overnight or try to hit some imaginary milestone as quickly as possible. It's to build something sustainable, something that's going to be able to support me creatively as well as financially, and also something that I want to maintain myself for the long term. And if that takes some time, then that's okay, because I would rather move steady in the right direction than rush into something that's going to burn me out as quickly as it starts. I hope you guys have found some of these steps helpful. In my next video, I'm going to start talking about what it is that I'm going to do to try to start finding clients, what I'm going to be experimenting with, and also some things that I'm going to try to avoid. If you've been through this transition yourself, then I would genuinely love to hear your experiences in the early stages when it comes to freelancing. And if you want to follow along as this journey continues, then please feel free to subscribe. And until then, I'll catch you guys in the next video.